guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Simbiat, and if you are stopping by for the first time, thank you for pressing play, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notification if my content are things that you relate with. Also give the video a thumbs up because it's helped my channel grow and it helps it to reach a wider audience. And if you're an old subscriber, you already know the drill. You already know how much I love you. Thank you for always coming back. Thank you for trusting and believing in me, for supporting me. I really appreciate, and I do not take it for granted. Please don't forget to like this video. All right, without further ado, let's jump right into the discussion. Okay, in today's video, from the title, you can already tell what I'm going to be discussing. So I'm going to be discussing the experiences that I've had or that I'm still getting in this service year that has made service year like what it for me. Like there's been uglies and there's been good ones. So I'm going to be talking about some of the good ones that I've had or things that I have enjoyed in this service year. So backstory, guys. First, coming from NYSC, I had some things that I wanted to achieve during the service year. Some of these things were acquiring skills, like add skills, like learn a skill, learn something. But because of redeployment issue that I could not redeploy from where I've been posted to where I really wanted to serve, I had to let go of some of these things, and then they're just like on hold. Not like I let go, but they're on hold. But then there are other things that I can still achieve. Like take for instance, I want to work on my weaknesses, and I want to figure some of them out. I want to work on them and be good at it. Like at least do some of the things I've been very scared to do, and also make friends. Meet people, because I feel like my social life is like really down, down, downwards. I don't know. It doesn't, like, I'm not really much of a social person. I really want to get myself together. So it's like a self-discovery year for me. That's what I intend to do this um with this service year. Okay, now let's talk about the weaknesses. So one of my major weaknesses, public speaking. Yes, public speaking. Like I said, it's sometimes people feel like, oh, you're confident, you can do this, you can do that. I don't know why I sort of appear confident to people. I appear very confident to some people, and I'm like, I'm not that confident. I don't even consider myself a very confident person per se. And when it comes to public speaking, it's even worse. I get stage fright. I'm very nervous prior and during the presentation. And so for the longest time, I would really avoid public speaking, except it has to do with solo and there was no way I was going to avoid it, then I do it. But if it was avoidable, I would avoid it. So when I was very young in my primary school and even secondary school, most times I wouldn't debate, I wouldn't do anything that involves the attention being on me or me speaking for a long time, because I do not like, not just that I don't like people's eyes on me or attention being focused on me. I just don't know, something about the whole stage fright thing. I think I don't have it. I feel like it's like a talent thing. I feel like people are born with it and I don't have it, and I'm not even, I don't think I'm even trying to even work to be there. Although I really love to see people who talk. I enjoy people who talk, and I find them very interesting. In fact, intriguing. Like I look at them, I'm like, wow, you have so much talent in you, which I think I do not have. Okay, I'm going to be telling you guys two stories about during my university days about my public speaking skills that were really funny, that are really memorable for me. And one is like a ugly and one is like a good, before I come back to the NYC gist. Okay, so it happened that in my year three, a lecturer gave us an assignment, my class an assignment, and then she grouped the class into different groups, I think groups of about 6 person each, and gave an assignment to us. I was supposed to research the assignments and then come back to the next class to present our research, our answers to the class. And my group met shortly after we were grouped, and then we decided that who was going to take on the presentation, how we're going to get materials and get the answers to the question that we've been given. So we discussed that, and then people decided that okay, now let's choose who speak. Some people chose me, and I was like, I just found a way to change things and pick someone else, because wow, the person was even good. Person is part of the debate and literary club in my school then. So the person was really good. So why not the person? Why use me? I found a way to dodge that. So it was good. And then we did not meet again before the presentation. But a night before the presentation, the actual days of presentation, I already had the answers to the questions, and I I even did some rehearsals, trying to prepare that if the worst comes to the worst and I have to even present for some reasons, maybe the presenter is indisposed and all of those things, someone has to step up. So I did that in anticipation, even though I was very nervous and I think I would not even still do it. Okay, now the D-Day is here. The presenter is not sick or indisposed as I was maybe thinking in case it when the worst comes to the worst. And I wasn't even the only one in the group, so any other person could have taken up that position. Okay, so the presenter wasn't as prepared. He doesn't even have the answers to the question, and it just kept talking. But one thing I really, really do admire about this presenter is he's very, very confident. Like he's very confident and is I kind of admire his speaking skills. He's like very good with speaking and everything. And he was talking, but he wasn't saying the right thing. And the lecturer, may had so rest in peace, was really displeased with our presentation. She was like, what? And she even gave us the opportunity to find someone else amongst the group to present the proper thing. Well, yeah, there I was with the answers and everything, but I couldn't even bring myself to present or step forward to save the group. So I let the group feel like that. Thank God she didn't even give us like a very terrible mark. I think she did give us like 5 or 6, but we were like among the groups that had like the least score in class there. And so that really pained me, even though my group mates did not know this, and I'm just saying this for the first time, like out here, and they don't know. But I was really, really, really pained. I kept beating myself that I could have done better, could have gotten better grades, but that passed, and then things go. I still kept avoiding those I could avoid, and then did the solo I could do. Then there was this particular solo that happened in my final year where we're given a particular topic to discuss, and we're supposed to research about the disease condition, find out everything that you can find out, and then come discuss it. And then the supervisor, actually you're going to present it in a PowerPoint format when you want to present, and then you submit a Word document after. So the supervisor is always saying that your PowerPoint is not supposed to be like bulky or so many slides and everything. So it just has to be brief and concise. And I was like, good, brief and concise is good. And then let me also tell you that another issue I have is most times when I have to present, I decide not to really, really, really do any research, because I feel like if I do not do any research and for some reasons the presentation flops, I have to blame my lack of preparedness for that, and there's something to blame. But if I did all the research and then for some reasons I flop, I'd really be hurt and broken. So I felt like that was like a defense mechanism, me not preparing. But now I've realized that was like a very wrong mentality. I'm just supposed to do what I can do, go present, and then take the feedback and find how I can use it positively. That's the thing I'm learning now, and I'm still learning. So back to the story. And then the first slide I made was about 10 slides, including the outline and the thank you for listening. Everything was 10 slides, and I wasn't even really, really, really prepared. I don't even know what I was going to say, because most times like talk to the slide, like you're supposed to talk to the slide, but I don't even know what I'm going to be talking to the slide to like about. It was confusing for me, but I just had to do it. And this supervisor is someone that a lot of people do not even like. People dread in a way. The guy, the man would lash you, would like there were things he would say if you do not present properly. So I just made up my mind that when the word like whatever happens, I brought this upon myself. So when you have the presentation, I had 10 slides, remember, and the presentation ended that day before it got to me, and I was like, oh, thank God, I've escaped this. So now in the next presentation class, I'm going to start the presentation, and I decided to work on my slides again. So I reviewed it, and then I had like 15 slides this time, and then I just added a few things here and there. And I think I was a little bit prepared, but I was still not fully prepared. And I stopped myself from being fully prepared because of my reasons. I want to have an excuse if anything happened. And then the day of the presentation came. I was even praying that it does not happen. I think it rained. I was praying that the rain just kind of disrupts the whole process, but it didn't happen. It did not disrupt anything. And then the presentation continued as planned. Then we got on stage, and I had to present. Initially, I started off shakily. I was just in a position. I was just trying to move around the slide, and it was even my first time presenting with a slide like that. So I had like a lot of anxiety happening at the same time. The stage fright, the computer fright, a lot of things were happening at the same time for me. But I was just trying to push on, and then I did everything. And at the point, I don't know where I got that confidence from, but it was like very light, little confidence, and I just went to where the screen um the screen on which the slide is being projected on. I just went there and I was just trying to carry my colleagues along. And even though I feel like the supervisor wasn't paying much attention, by the time the supervisor was supposed to comment on my presentation after I was done, he just said I was confident, and I just made some correction as to my slides, and I was like, really? I was already expecting the worst. Like once I said thank you for listening, I was just expecting the man to tell me that you did rubbish. That was trash. That was like the most terrible presentation I've had all my life. Blah 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 blah. But he said I was confident. I still did not believe in him though. Even though he did a little bit for me, I kind of felt encouraged, but I did not believe him because I was like, he wasn't paying so much attention. Maybe he didn't get it. Maybe it was just the part that I saw. Like, I still had that thing, and I think another thing I'm struggling with is impostor syndrome. I kind of feel like no matter how good whatever it is I've done, even when everybody says it's good, I just still feel like it's not good. I feel like I'm not good enough with some things, and it's terrible to have. So when he said that, I was like, oh. But then another thing that happened that day was I felt like that word alone was enough to carry me all through the whole process of public speaking. I felt like, now I've gotten over the public speaking stage fright. But my dear, more opportunities came to speak, and I avoided it up until NYSC now. Okay, so in fact, part of the reason why I started my YouTube channel is because of is in order to improve my public speaking skills. Even though I know I'm not going to be talking to an audience directly, but it's going to be reaching. I feel like I believe that my video is going to be reaching a whole lot of people around the world, not just Nigeria, not just Africa, but a whole lot of people around the world. And really, you people you can even imagine how tensed or how nervous I always am when I want to drop content, but I do it anyways. Okay, so let's talk about how NYC is helping me now. So in my CDS, when I came back to resume my PPE, and then there are four cardinal points on of NYC. There are four cardinal points. There is the orientation, which is the one we go for, which is the one core members go for 3 weeks in camp at the beginning of the service year. And then there is the PPA, which is the place of primary assignment, where you'll be posted to do your service year. And then there is the CDS, which is community development service, which is either personal or in group. The groups are already created. You just have to belong to a group, which is going to be assigned to you by either the local government inspector or the CLO, which is the core liaison officer. So is either the person or the airline. And then there's the last stage, which is the POP, personal parade. Okay, so that's like the four cardinal points of NYC. Okay, now let's talk about the CDS. So I belong to the Drug Free and Quality Control CDS group. So when I went to document at the local government secretariat, I met with other core members. They were already serving there before, not my stream, not my batch, but they were already there. And the CLO, having seen that I studied pharmacy, and was like, oh, okay, drug free and quality control group would need a pharmacist, so decided to put me in that group. And backstory again is I also belong to drug free club. I belonged to drug free club in school when I was in school in the university. So yeah, I had an idea of what this is all about. Okay, first meeting that we had, new core member met with old core member or previous core member that were already serving in the local government before, and then we had like that belonged to the same CDS group, and then we had a meeting, and then the group already had some things in plan. They were planning to go for an outreach for a sensitization program in a school, and they had a speaker in mind already. They've already done their research. They had the document we're going to work with, and the speaker for some reasons could not was not available to speak, and so they decided to vote a new speaker. And bear in mind that was my first time at the meeting, but everybody kept nominating me. I saw it coming too, but I thought I would be able to avoid it, but I wasn't able to avoid it. And there was this voice at the back of my head that said, reject, reject. If I had rejected, I feel like everybody would just be okay. It's my first time and I'm just trying to get along, get the flow. Oh, then there's this other voice that said, oh, you want to work on these things, why not just accept it, and whatever happens. What is the worst that can happen? People say you do not do well, or it's terrible, it's this and that. And then why it was even more hard or dreadful for me was because it was in line with what I studied. So it would be like very ridiculous for me to full up in that kind of a presentation. But I was not worried about the knowledge or what I was going to pass across. I was worried about my skill as a public speaker. It was terrible, but I accepted it, and that's one thing I have learned now. No matter what happens, I keep accepting this role. What's the worst that can happen? I get like terrible feedback, but life continues, life happens. I get to work on whatever it is that I have been told and everything. Okay, so let's talk about the first presentation, this that I've been nominated for. We went for the presentation, you know, on getting there, I got there very early, and like I was the first person to get there. Then other people came, other members came, they joined me, and it was one of the members' PPA, place of primary assignment. So it was a school, it was a secondary school, and then we were to talk. By the time I started talking, I started off shakily, like very shakily. My voice was shaking, my hands, I could feel them shaking. I don't know if any other person could see it, but I could feel myself shaking literally. But as I continued the conversation, as I continued talking, I eased into the presentation, and I just started just gesticulating, and it was like the flow for me, and I was feeling myself like, what is this you? Well, that didn't get to me, and it just happened. And after everything, people started saying, wow, that was great, that was this, and that was. Bear in mind, I wasn't expecting those kind of good reviews. I was shocked. People were like, oh, you don't have to tell us how you do it. Public speaking, you're really good at these things, blah, blah, blah. People just had a lot of things to say, and I was like, what? That's good. But I didn't believe in myself. I still had that imposter thing that said, it wasn't that good. They were just trying to encourage you because everybody wants you to do it, and you did it, and they're just trying to encourage you. But the truth is, I think I did something for myself that day. It was, even though I knew that my audience were very young, but it was still, something happened for me, and I was happy. I'm still very nervous when I have to present, though. I'm still very, very nervous. Days before presentation, minutes before presentation, minutes into the presentation, I'm still very nervous, but I've found a way to always ease into the presentation as the time goes on. And so far, I've done like 3 presentations out of the 4 presentations that we've had in my CDS group, and I'm I'm happy. But another thing I've also noticed is I talk really fast. Even in this video, I've been talking really fast. Sometimes I've been trying to tone it down a little bit. So most times my imposter syndrome also kind of takes its fuel. Like its energy gets the energy from the fact that I talk very fast. So I feel like I have a lot of things muddled up into the conversations, and they are very fast. And for presentations where there are no slides or materials to refer back to, I feel like my audience will not get everything that I was saying. Even though I ask feedback questions like, are you getting me, are we on the same page, are you there? But I still just feel like I talk very, very fast. It's like sometimes it's as if I'm rapping, and I think I have to work on that. I've been trying to tone it down, but I think it's just me naturally. But I'm really, really working at doing that. Okay, so that's that. This how the CDS is helping me get my public speaking on track. Okay, there's also another one, but this has to do with my PPA. So when I resumed at my PPA around July 2021, um that same month we got IT students at my department, pharmacy unit. And then when IT students come to the hospital, as I've been told, you have to train them, you have to tell them things, teach them. In fact, sometimes it might involve it might involve having a classroom um teaching where they ask questions, you answer, or you even teach them like a whole new thing. And then I found myself having to organize these things and do these things, talk to them. And bear in mind, this audience are even like in their 20s, not like the ones that are like in their teen, like 11 to like 15. These ones are like 20 upwards, or like 18 to like 22. So it was like more older audience, and I was it was even more tense for me. Like I didn't know what to do. Well, I found a way around it, and it made sense, and I was really proud of how I'm really proud of how far I've come now. And that's another thing that service year has taught me and is still teaching me, and I'm really grateful for. Another thing that I would say is also my writing skills. Yeah, like almost as terrible as my speaking skills. I even think it's more terrible than my skills. But again, it's the imposter syndrome. I just have this voice at the back of my mind that always tells me that I can't do things, or I'm not good enough, and all of those things. Okay, so I was nominated, or I was selected as a secretary for a particular workshop that happened. It was an NYSC event, and we were three secretaries. And when the event started, it was just one person that was writing, and the person was writing. And then later, the supervisor, we had supervisors. The supervisor was like, okay, we should all write. And I was like, okay, what do I even write? And I was still wondering, trying to figure out what am I supposed to write. I'm supposed to write everything this person is saying. Is it like person is dictating and I'm taking notes down, or I'm just supposed to like summarize? But how easy is it for you to summarize some like a presentation, what somebody is saying? I've not done that before. And even when I do it in class, that is different. You always have material you can refer back to, but this time it's like somebody is saying it on the spot, and you have to like write them down. But as I just started writing and writing and writing. I was writing a lot of things. It wasn't even like everything the person was saying. It was like summary and everything. But I was just so impressed that, oh, I could even do this thing. And I've learned that, see, the hardest part is starting. Just start, and everything will make sense along the line. And even if it doesn't make sense, you will learn a thing or two about how to do it better next time. So that's another thing for me. My writing skills in a way is being improved. Even though it's just once that I've done it, but I'm still going to try and try again. And I think I'll do better as I try. Okay, another thing that NYC has helped me with again is leadership skills. Okay, so currently I'm the president of my CDS group, Drug Free and Quality Control CDS group. And best believe, I saw it coming though, that people will probably vote for me because of my presentation, and as well because of my professional qualification. So I feel like that's the basis for why that's the basis on which they chose me. And I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to serve them. Like, I see myself as a servant leader anyways. I, that's the first way I see myself, a servant leader. So because I can see other people who have potential to also lead in the group, I see myself as a servant leader. And then another thing is, I'm still trying to see. I don't know how to balance it. Most times I just let myself be free. I've actually led a team before, the electoral committee team during my undergraduate days. I was the chairman of the electoral committee, and these people are people that I've worked with before, and I know them. I've known them for a while, say a year, 2 years. But this sort of people I'm leading now, I just met them a couple of months, and I have to start leading them. And human beings are very hard to lead, but these people are very awesome and amazing. And sometimes I don't even see myself as the leader. I just see myself as a member, and I've just been given the title to lead. But really, it's an amazing opportunity and an experience that I'm really grateful for. And that's also another thanks to NYSC. That's another thing I'm enjoying in NYSC. Okay, the last but not the least is the opportunity to organize things. And not like organize per se, but the thing is, every month, every end of the month, NYSC or core members in my local government, we come together to have like a social gathering. I'm not the social director, but I remember that when we got here, like when I got to my local government where I was supposed to serve, and the following month, okay, I got there July, and I think They were planning a social gathering for the end of the July, and the person planning was part of my CDS group member, or most of the planning committee were part of my CDS group member. And then we had discussions, and then I was just giving ideas about games. Already, I'm not someone that ideally I don't go to parties. I don't even know what parties, what are done, like I don't know what people do in parties. Like I have no idea what happens at parties. You know what I said about my social life, like this. So I don't know, but I just enjoy doing things, some things, and even though I just enjoy doing it by myself. And then they were like, okay, yes, okay, create games for us. Okay, you have ideas, you do this, do this. And the first party, I was really tense. I even had to leave the social director to host everything. I was just coming in once in a while, but people totally enjoyed the games I created. And you don't know how much joy you get from people enjoying what you've created. So it was so much joy for me, and ever since then I've always been creating games for the event. And a lot of people kind of see me like, oh, one great content creator and everything. But I don't even see myself as a great content creator at all, but I really do my best. Like I do my research, I go on YouTube, I look at ways we can modify it. Even there are games that I will see, and maybe for capital reasons, for money, funds and everything, we might not be able to do that game. I find ways to create those games in a DIY form, ways that are cheaper and everything. And it has been great so far. So my CDS has helped me in my public speaking and leadership, and then NYSC in general. I've had the opportunity to teach at my PPA. I've had the opportunity to organize an event and also serve as a secretary to a team. And all these service and all these skills put together are some of the things that have made NYSC worth it for me. Maybe in another video, I'm going to be talking about the downside of NYSC that I have experienced. But in this video, I have talked about the things that I've enjoyed, and I'm going to advise that if you're a prospective core member or you're a core member serving already, it's never too late. You can still get involved in other activities, you can still get to do other things, you can still dare yourself to do things that you've always wanted to do but you've been too scared to do. So it's that time to do it. Just explore, take just try your luck. Whatever happen. Learn from the mistakes and learn from the feedbacks that you get. All right, guys, so with this I've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this video a very big thumbs up, because it's going to help my video reach a wider audience and help more people benefit from what I have shared and even enjoy it. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment and share. Yes, comment, guys, comment, interact with my video. Let's have conversation. Let me know what you've been doing in your during your service year. Let me know how your service year has helped you. Let me know things that you still want to do, things you are looking forward to do. If you're a prospective core member, or you have not even started 7 years, or you have not even yet applied to or registered on the NYSC portal, you are like, even if you're still an undergraduate, just tell me what you're looking forward to do, or anything at all that you're looking forward to do, or weaknesses that you're looking forward to conquer. Just share with me in the comment section. Thank you very much for listening. I love you guys. Bye.